And also, I would like to know if you are someone who tends to enjoy the monsters when they're cuter, or if you go for like the cooler designs once they happen to be evolved and like have all of their gimmicks and doodads and special abilities and stuff like that. Take a moment, think about it. Go ahead and let me know, either in chat or especially through donations. Want to remind everyone one more time that we have the naming bid war open for Cassette Beast, which is mere minutes away from closing. We still have Cat in the lead with 6767, but it is not too late. You can still snipe it. We could have trans rights in honor of Jessica. We could have trains rights in honor of the fact that we kind of steamrolled over Jessica at the end of that previous run. Or something different, one of the others that are in the list. We also do still have that incentive open for the Parappa Showcase. Again, we're about $250 away from meeting that. I think within this 50-minute run, it is entirely possible for us to hit that incentive. But I believe we are ready to go, I think. So if we happen to be ready, we are going to pass it over to Alys Rujasu for our Cassette Beast Any Percent Seeded run. Alys, if you're there, the floor is yours.
All right, I'm here. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm Alys Rujasu. I'm going to be playing some Cassette Beasts here. I really love this game. I always talk about how awesome this game is. And I run the Any Percent Seeded category of it, which is the most popular speedrun category for this game. So this is just basic. We're going to have all the settings on like the easiest, so we can breeze through things relatively quickly, and we'll just create a custom game, enter our very special custom seed. Let me make sure I have the exact right one, because this is very important. If I have any number other than this, things are going to go horribly wrong. So we're going to move into the kind of character selector here. So the main character of this game is named Cass, but we can enter any name we want for Cass. So if I could I get the results of that bid war for this?
At 6767, with a starter of C and an ender of T and as many A's as you can fit in between, it is all uppercase.
All right, so there we go. And I believe we did meet the incentive for...
We did meet the incentive for the cat ears, yes.
The cat ears. Let me just go through here and find it. There's a whole bunch of different things we can find here. Cat headband. All right, so we got cat with a cat headband. Awesome. Thank you very much, chat, for getting that for us. So time is going to start more or less when I click a button here. So I'll give you a countdown. 3, 2, 1, go. All right, so you'll see it'll take a second for the in-game timer to start. This game is officially timed using in-game time, but so that won't match exactly the big timer on the screen, but that's totally fine. So this is Cassette Beasts. It's a game very similar to Pokemon and some other games like that. We're just going to get kind of right into the action here with a little tutorial battle. We pick our starter Pokemon. We have to pick Sweet, which is Candevil. We're not going to use Candevil a lot in this run, but Candevil is like marginally better for the category that we're doing here. So that battle was really easy, and we meet Kaylee, who is the first partner we encounter in this game. And there are all sorts of different partners you have. There's like, you're always in a party of 2 in this game, so each of the 2 characters, you know, gets a cassette player, and they can use the cassette player to transform into different monsters that have been recorded on cassette tapes, and you have moves and abilities that are determined by stickers which you put on the cassette tapes. So, you know, makes perfect sense, right?
So what in particular is the purpose of the seeded run? Like, what about the seed are we making use of during the speed run?
So, very good question. So, the devs of this game are big fans of like speedruns and randomizers and things like that. So the seed determines it determines like what's going to be in the chests that we pick up, which is going to be very important for getting the right stickers and having the right abilities for what we want to do. It's also going to determine the RNG in boss fights. It won't determine the RNG in random encounters, but in boss fights, we'll be able to know ahead of time exactly what's going to happen in those boss fights, as long as we do things just right. So you'll see me, like, doing things like ordering the stickers in a certain way and menuing very specifically to get just the right RNG. So there we fought another tutorial battle. There's about a like 7-8 minute tutorial at the beginning of this game. We'd love to skip it. There's not really a way to skip it. There are lots of fun glitches and skips in this game that would let us skip the tutorial area, but the problem is the tutorial area unlocks too much stuff that we want to have access to. If we don't do the tutorial, we can't actually finish the runs. We just kind of have to bite the bullet and do this tutorial here. This next tutorial fight, there is actually a little bit of tech to.
Okay.
So this is teaching us how to record monsters. And I'm just going to record the monster. Here I'm going to attempt to run away with Sirenade. And running away from this battle always fails, but by doing that, it just skips an attack that I didn't want to do, basically. Like, there's no, just, like, defend, so it's faster to just, like, attempt to run away and fail, if that makes sense. So here we're gonna transform into the Dominov that we just recorded, and again, this is just, like, tutorial stuff. It's explaining the mechanics, that sort of thing. So the rest of this fight is pretty straightforward. And then we're just going to kind of walk to the first boss. So if you have anything you'd like to tell us, we have about a minute.
Sure. Well, I, of course, am going to point out the fact that we have that incentive open for the Jammer Lammy Parappa Showcase. That's an amount of 350 is what we're aiming for. We're currently at 107.67. Let me see how far down that is. We have a very short 13-minute run after this before we get to Jammer Lammy, so I don't want folks to dawdle too much. If that is something you'd like to see, if you want to see our boy Parappa, now is the time to get those donations in. Outside of that, I'm just excited about the remaining stuff up here. The Muse Dash is something I'm excited to see. I'm curious if we're going to have any last incentives that we want to open up, but just in general, there's so many runs over the course of this weekend that I am excited to go back and see. Just reminding folks that there is a YouTube channel that you can find by typing !YouTube, where the videos are going to be uploaded after the marathon is finished. So don't worry if you happen to miss out on one that you were really looking forward to. We've got you covered. We're going to have those uploaded, and you can go back and relive it alongside everyone else.
All right, so we're in a haunted train station here. Lots of haunted train stations in this run. And we're going to encounter Morgante, who's the first boss. Morgante is important for a number of reasons, like storyline-wise. She gives us a song, and she comes up later. But right now, she's sort of a tutorial fight. She's scripted in a very interesting way. You'll see that all our attacks deal 1 damage to Morgante. But the thing is, Kaylee has a special attack that hits twice, and that she has that specifically on this seed. So that's one of the reasons that we took this seed. It's so that she could attack twice. And with that double attack, you'll see in a little bit that's gonna help us out. It's gonna help us basically skip a turn for this fight here. But this fight is going to introduce a mechanic called fusion. So you can fuse with your partner, and you're going to see that right now. So these two monsters are going to fuse into a bigger monster, and it's going to give us a little tutorial message. We're going to mash through that. We're going to attack here, and this will just be a single attack. The next turn, we're going to do a double attack that's going to hit for 5 damage twice, and that's going to be exactly enough to take down Morgante here. So this fight's very specifically timed to save us 1 round. Usually it goes another round, and you know, there's a bunch of animation that we get to skip, so that's fun. And there's a bunch of dialogue about a bunch of story stuff, and we get the first Morgante song cutscene. The Morgante song is very important storyline-wise, because there's a riddle that we need to know about. The riddle isn't important for the speedrun, because we already know the answer to it on this seed, but the song will be important for a different reason, which will come up later. So here I'm going to rest, and I'm going to rest again. And we're not doing resting to heal, because we're already healed. We're doing it purely to manipulate RNG. And that's just for this next section, if we didn't rest there, there would be a battle that spawns, like, right where we don't want it to spawn, so we just want to skip that. So I'm doing a little bit of menuing for the next fight here. I'm going to sell off a few items here. And I'm going to buy a hair Fusili here. And we're going to use that to do a fusion a little bit later. We're going to say hi to Eugene here.
Hey! So... yeah!
And we're going to say goodbye to Eugene, because Eugene does not get to do anything in this run. There is another run that I practiced where we get to use Eugene, but for the main storyline quest, he is actually not needed at all. It turns out for the main quest of this game, there's a lot we don't need to do. We don't need to get most of the partners. We don't need to talk to any of the ranger captains. We don't need to do any of the side quests. There's a whole lot of stuff that we don't have to do. Also, I see someone in chat saying, "Hi, Eugene, you're not fun, but it's cool that you hate landlords." Yes, shout out to hating landlords. That is basically Eugene's whole quest in this game. He just goes after the land keepers and tries to get rid of them all, and we love him for that. So you saw there Ianthe. Ianthe is important for the Ranger Captain side quest that we don't really get to do in this run. There's a different speed run called All Captains where we get to say hi to more of the captains, but in this category we don't really get to do it, which is a shame. But you know, if we did that, then this run would take a whole lot longer. So I'm just going to be walking over here, and there's one other partner that we do need for this run, and that's Felix, because Felix has a very important starting monster. The monsters that we record in this game are called monsters. They're not called beasts, even though the game's Cassette Beasts. Don't worry about it. But yeah, we talked to Felix. He'll be joining our party in just a little bit, but not quite yet. So we're going to go over here, and we're going to meet a monster called a Bulletino, and we're going to go record a Bulletino, because Bulletino gives us a dash ability, which it turns out in speedruns, the dash ability is a good one, you know, because go fast. So we're just going to record this Bulletino, and then we're going to do some dashing around, and we're going to pick up some chests. So yeah, if you have anything to say, if you have any questions about this game, go right ahead.
I want to remind everyone who's watching that your donations are supporting True Colors United, the charity associated with this marathon. And True Colors United implements innovative solutions to youth homelessness that focus on the unique experiences of LGBTQ plus young people. LGBTQ plus youth are 120% more likely to face homelessness than their peers, while Black youth are 83% more likely and Latine youth are 33% more likely. True Colors United is guided by two core beliefs: that those who have experienced an issue firsthand hold the keys to the solution, and that improving outcomes for the most impacted communities benefits everyone. You can type !charity in chat to learn more about True Colors United, or type !donate in the chat in order to access the donation page. Consider making a financial contribution during this marathon, and in the process, help us hit some of these incentives that we've got available to unlock additional content for the marathon. So, thank you very much for your time and attention.
Yeah, thank you. We've really glad we can support True Colors United, and I think I just despawned that rock. So hang on for a second while I go and grab another rock here, I guess. I'll just...
Good timing on mentioning that. Someone in chat was saying that they should mention that you are holding the rock to make jumps you wouldn't normally be able to make. Do you want to elucidate on that?
Yeah, so you'll see sometimes when I jump with a rock or something in my hands, and I sort of land in front of the ledge instead of on it. That's just a thing in this game. Like, if you hold a rock over your head, you can jump better. I don't know why, but the devs consider it to be intended behavior, so, you know, just go with it. The devs of this game, shout out to them, they're really cool. But they, from what I can tell, don't really mind if the game just kind of has some glitches in it. You know, if they're cool glitches and don't take away from the game experience. Like I said, they're speedrunning fans. They've been very supportive of us, and you know, this game has a really good speedrunning community. I have to do a menu here. So we're going to replace this with custom starter, and we'll slide that down. So custom starter and random starter are super important items that are usually hard to find, but we know where to get them on this particular seed, so they're pretty easy to get here. Yeah, but custom starter, you'll see there we just used it to kind of raise our attack power, but in a little bit you'll see where we're really abusing it to just kind of break the game mechanics a little bit. So that's going to be a lot of fun. For this game, this is going to be the basically the last time that you see the fusion mechanic, because we're going to be doing things that are more powerful. Like, the fusion mechanic is powerful because it raises your stats a lot, but you know, it's powerful in a fair way, and this is a speed run, so we want to cheat. So that's what we're going to be doing in a little bit here.
Everyone knows
here we're just kind of, you know, winning through straightforward, you know, deal damage to the enemies. Like, you know, that's kind of boring to just, like, fight fair. So we're not going to be doing much more of that after this.
Everyone knows that usually powerful and fast are two different aspects, and you can have both, but usually if you're powerful, you're not also fast. So we gotta go fast.
Yeah. I will also add that the most powerful thing we can do in this game is drink coffee, which I'll explain later on.
What an opener to that.
So we're going to record a Jumpkin here. The Jumpkin is going to give us a Vine Ball movement ability, which is going to be very powerful. It's just going to help us a lot with a lot of stuff.
Got it.
Sorry. There we go. Alright, so we got the Vine Ball, and we're just going to run away from this encounter, because once we recorded the Jumpkin, we don't really need to do anything else with that fight. We don't need to win the fight, we can just run away from it. And we're going to say goodbye to Kaylee for a while. She will be back later on. We're going to go over here, and I'm going to need to sell another thing to get a little bit more resources, because I want to buy this glass camouflage, which is going to be the final piece of the puzzle, sort of, to really start breaking the game. So we're going to use glass camouflage with Felix here. So he's back at his house. Hey. We're going to talk to him. He's going to talk to us about his cool art stuff. So Felix is an artist, so his monster is kind of art-related, and it's also a cute mushroom, which here at Power Up with Pride, we love our cute mushrooms, right? So, you know, that's cool. So I need to unequip this. Like I said, the menuing in this is really precise, so I need to make sure I had the exact right things on the right monsters at the right times, and they have to be like in the exact right order even, or else like the custom starter mechanics won't work properly. So like that Sonic Boom here, that needs to get out of there, or else we might randomly use a Sonic Boom when we wanted to use a Spit. So what we're going to be doing next is we're going to go to some more haunted train stations, and we're going to actually see some trains, and we're going to fight some boss enemies that we're going to totally trivialize with the help of Brushroom. So Brushroom is going to use glass camouflage and an ability called Paint Swipe to basically change the elemental types of the monsters that it's hitting, and by changing their elemental types, we can of course you know, like, exploit their weaknesses. But the weaknesses in this game aren't just you do more damage, right? The weaknesses in this game are, like, very specific mechanics. So the mechanic in this case is going to be something called resonance. What? And the way resonance works is if you give something resonance 3 times, it dies. Just, like, automatically takes, you know, full HP and damage. So that even works on bosses, like pretty much every boss in the game, this will work on. So we're going to take full advantage of that.
What an interesting shift in art design all of a sudden on this boss.
Yeah, right? It's just like everything's cute, and then all of a sudden, like, you know, not so much. I need to do a switch here. It's like if I don't do that switch, then it's just like RNG manipulation. If I don't switch there and I do the wrong thing, then Papatox will attack the wrong thing, and I'll have to do like the whole entire fight over. So I have to be really careful about, you know, like not hitting the wrong thing here or doing the wrong thing, because you know, one wrong input there, and that fight would have gone horribly sideways. But, so that's that fight, just, you know, pretty much trivialized. And that's how these next few fights are going to go here. So, for this next part of the run, like, the fights are going to be pretty simple, but the movement is actually going to be more interesting. So, even though this is, you know, a turn-based RPG, it's actually going to be a little bit more kind of action-y, because it's going to be more about the movement rather than, you know, rather than, like, the fighting strategy. And of course the glitches, because like you saw there, I used the vine ball to just kind of go out of bounds. Like, I was supposed to do a whole dungeon there. Like, there was a whole puzzle to it, and... Oh, let's say hi to Barkley the dog here, by the way. Hi, Barkley! So Barkley is one of the other partners we can get in this game. He is totally optional, so we don't get him for the speedrun, but we love Barkley, and I love that we get to kind of see him for a second there on our way up here. But you'll see I'll use the vine ball there to get to the very tip of that tree, and I can just make it to the top of this, and up here, and we kind of have to do this part the normal way. There is also a different way to go up this mountain, where we get on top of a magnet and use the magnet to fly up. But it's slower and less consistent, so we used to do it that way, but now we just use the vine ball.
See, this is why I shouldn't be allowed to see this kind of tech in use, because when I play games where, like, creative exploration can get you to places you probably shouldn't have access to yet, not only do I usually end up, like, fighting things that are way beyond what I'm supposed to be doing, but then I forget where I was supposed to be going, and I completely lose track of my game progress.
Yeah. I will say, like, if you're playing this game casually, like, it does keep you a little bit more on the rails because of, like, the difficulty level of the fights. Like you said, there are certain areas that are a little bit more, that have more difficult fights and stuff, and, you know, like, there's all sorts of mechanics related to that I could go into, but I just don't have time. So here's Babolith. Babolith tells bad jokes. I love that about him, but we're going to go fast, so we're not going to get to read any of the bad jokes.
Chat, you need to tell your best bad joke to distract them so that we can win this fight. Get those,
Yeah,
donate your best bad joke.
Yeah, so he's going to use bad joke there, but I'm, like, holding down the Y button, so it just kind of speeds by and you can't read it.
That's a great bad joke. What's the most important element of comedy? Timing.
I also love how when he does the bad joke, it doesn't do anything, and you just see, like, no effect appear over everybody's head, and it just makes me imagine that they're just, like, responding to the joke with just, like, annoyed silence.
So how do you apply resonance stacks again? You were mentioning about how bosses aren't immune to it, but how do you actually tick it up and get it to 3?
Right, so, so Brushroom uses glass camouflage to turn himself to glass. And then, let me just do some menuing here, but, he'll turn himself to glass, and then he'll use Paint Swipe to apply that glass to the monster that it attacks with Paint Swipe. So it turns the opponent to glass, and then when you hit a glass enemy with wind, which Sirenade is wind, it applies resonance.
I see.
Okay, so I'm gonna need to do a tricky little skip here. I talked about Morgante's song being important, so we're gonna use Morgante's song here, and by playing this cutscene, I skip a different cutscene that's supposed to happen right there when I walk into that elevator. So instead of going into the elevator, I just, like, get to go out of bounds there and, once again, skip an entire dungeon. So that was fun. It's normally supposed to be a whole, like, Alice in Wonderland-themed dungeon, with a whole bunch of, like, references to that, but no, we're just skipping to the end boss here. You know, because speedrunning.
It's kind of giving me off vibes, like these boss fights. If you're familiar with that game at all.
Oh, no, I haven't played it yet.
I think if you like this kind of game, I think you would really enjoy it. Especially because it's getting released on Switch, so...
Okay. Yeah, I'll have to look into that one. You know, add that to my just like gigantic backlog of games, right?
Yes. Personal backlog, yes. Stream or marathon stream backlog. Yeah, we can discuss that another time.
Yeah. Okay. This has never happened before. This should be fine, question mark? If it's not fine, then... Oh, it was fine. It was fine, we're fine. Forget I said anything, everything is fine.
Oh, they had that magic pixel. Yeah, if you zoom in, there's like the tiniest amount of health.
Like, so that second enemy there, like, doesn't normally appear when I, like, do that fight. But I guess it was just, like, RNG. Like, usually the RNG is totally scripted for these fights, but there are, like, a few details that aren't. So, yeah. I just need to make sure that this is in the right order. Yeah. So we're gonna do the little cutscene skip thing again, because this next area, we're supposed to go here with Kaylee. But it turns out if we don't come here with Kaylee, it's actually faster, because we can skip the part that kind of gates it and requires us to bring Kaylee, and we skip some of Kaylee's dialogue by doing that. Not all of it, which is kind of weird, but some of it. So, like, you'll see here, so, like, that guard was supposed to stop us there, but I was able to cutscene skip it because, yeah, Morgante's song is broken like that. It just sort of overwrites the cutscene that's supposed to play there. And I'm actually going to try to do a cutscene skip again here. Sometimes I miss this one, but we'll see if I get it. Yeah, I got it. All right. Nice. So, yeah, skipped all that stuff. Don't worry about these people. They're not important, and none of them are, like, about to get totally annihilated here. That's definitely not going to happen.
Do they hate landlords, though? That's the important part. Oh!
He's fine, don't worry. So this is Morningstar. This is going to be another really quick blink and you miss it fight. If he doesn't do a lot of counterattacks. He might do a lot of counterattacks, we'll see. Yeah, he's doing a bunch of counterattacks. That's okay, though. What? Oh, I put them in the wrong order! Okay, this will be a little less quick, but hopefully still fine. Okay, I need to fix that after this fight. Okay, that's what happened. So custom starter needs to be before spit, and I had them in the wrong order. It's like I said, you need to have stuff exactly right, or else, like, these fights can go very sideways, and I suddenly have to go, what do I do? What do I do? So yeah, that was on me. I screwed up. I put them in the wrong order. I'll just match through Morgante's song here. But it'll be okay. So coming up here, normally Kaylee is supposed to have a bunch of dialogue here, but since Felix is kind of playing the part of Kaylee, some of that dialogue will get skipped. Normally, before, you used to be able to go over here and do a glitch, but they patched that out, so I'll just have to warp back to town. Before that, I'm gonna take a real brief detour here for just, like, absolutely no reason. So just give me a second here. I'm gonna talk to this person. I don't know why I talked to him, but it just seemed like an appropriate thing to do right now.
Ah, he has a really cool voice. I hope people get to hear him in the game sometime.
Bonjour.
I enjoyed playing that character because I think I literally just like took a nap before I went in to record for him, so that when I woke up, I still had that kind of, you know, like getting my bearings sort of thing. And you do what you can for the craft. So
that's awesome. That's a good way to do that. But yeah, normally, like, if you're doing the captain side quest, you would have like a fight with him to kind of prove your worth as to be one of the ranger captains. It's a really cool quest to do casually or as part of the all captains speed run, but we're just doing main quest here, so we don't get to do that fight. But so this is a big cutscene here. If you want to talk about some stuff right now, you got a good minute or two.
We have an open window if folks want to get donations in. My hope is that by the end of this marathon, we can make that campaign total hit a nice, clean 5,000. I mean, let's be honest. If we manage to hit that incentive for the Parappa showcase, that's another 250 right there. We will already be halfway there to hitting the big 5,000 by the end of the marathon. So that's my hope right now. Like, I always love seeing chat's commentary. I love seeing people share their experiences with these games. I love having them like point out their own personal like cool moments that happen. So it's not just about us and not just about, you know, Alys running this game. We want to hear from you as well. So feel free to engage, share what makes this special to you, or, you know, whatever about this marathon really stuck out to you. And either way, thank you for being here. Thank you for helping us support a great cause.
Oh.
Yeah, and I really want to see that Parappa showcase, by the way.
I do too. Parappa was one of those games I missed when I was younger, so any chance I get to like live vicariously through his appearances in marathons, like that's his attachment to me.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. And if we get Parappa, then, you know, there might be some incentives coming up after that. So, you know, it'd be really cool to get that one out of the way, just saying. Again, I have to do menuing here, and I actually had to change up the menuing for this recently, so I have to remember to put paint swipe up top here, and that fixes the problems that I had at my last marathon. And I'll remove this, and I'll move this up, which will fix the problems that I had in this marathon. Okay, I think I have everything right, so we're gonna teleport back over here. And we're gonna head toward the final dungeon here, which normally we would use Morgante's riddle to figure out the location of it. But again, we're on a seed that we already know where it is, so like it's going to be right over here. I just need to pick up this box and throw a box at this tree because the riddle literally tells you, like, throw a box at the tree. And if you're playing casually, this mirror will be in a totally different place, so you'll actually have to solve the riddle. So I'm not, like, spoiling that if you want to play this game.
I just love the idea that it's like, it's really cryptic at first, going, riddle for you, riddle for me. And then they just lose interest and go, just pick up a box and throw it at a tree.
Pretty much.
Oh!
Okay, so we are coming up on the final boss here. I'm gonna get to do. No, I do not want to quit. Save there. That would have been bad. I did have a backup save, so we would have been okay. But
Losing 3 seconds to save 38 minutes. I think that's a good trade-off.
yeah. So if I did everything right, this next fight will go really well. But you know, again, we'll see. Like I said, we have to have those stickers in just the right order, and everything has to be lined up perfectly for this to happen. But we're gonna fight the final boss, and you know, this will be the first phase because, of course, you know, RPG boss, there have to be.
We all drew something like that in 3rd grade for arts and crafts hour, didn't we? With macaroni and glue.
Right, yeah.
That's amazing that this strat still works on the final boss.
Yeah, it'll work a little bit differently on the next phase, but that's where coffee is going to come into play.
Right.
So we took down the first phase with the usual strategy. This next phase, now the issue is, like I said, I need to have those abilities lined up exactly perfectly. So I had them lined up perfectly for the first phase. I don't have them lined up quite perfectly for this phase. So this phase, like, there's a random chance for custom starter to go off, and so custom starter is going to sort of miss here. So I have a strategy to make that work, but it's going to look a little scuffed. So he's not going to use paint swipe there. We're going to do a couple of spits that aren't going to help because he's not turned to glass yet. I'm going to switch to Bulletino, and then I'm going to use paint swipe. So we're going to turn Aleph Null to glass here on the first turn, and Bulletino is going to, like, die in 2 hits, because Bulletinos have, like, really low defense. But that's going to be fine. So we get to bring Sirenade back in because Bulletino died, and Sirenade will use custom starter again. So that'll get 2 stacks of resonance, and then we get to attack, and we'll run away here. And Spit will go off first, 3 stacks, boom. But Aleph Null gets half its health back suddenly. That's, you know, final boss gets to do some shenanigans here. So, and you'll see here what happens. Aleph Null is actually going to break our cassette player.
You ruined the groove!
So what are we going to do now with no cassette player and no monsters?
Typical.
Cry?
Pretty much, but Morgante is going to come out here and sort of admonish us for crying about it. And, you know, we're going to get inspired and stuff.
Right.
And we're going to fuse with Morgante here. So we're going to, like, become an Archangel. And what are we going to do as an Archangel? We're going to drink coffee.
Oh, but that was my second guess.
And we're gonna get attacked, and we're not gonna care about the attack that much. It's not gonna do that much damage. And we're gonna drink coffee one more time.
This makes sense. I do feel a little bit like God when I've had this much caffeine in my system.
Yeah. So now that we've had a bunch of caffeine, we're gonna do this.
I see.
So, and that is why coffee is the most powerful thing in the universe. So that is the, like, final boss. There are, you know, lots of other side bosses that we could go fight, and, you know, secret bosses and secret bosses and all that. If you want to know about that, you know, go play the actual game. There's going to be some dialogue here, and then time's going to be coming up in just a little bit. And time.
Well, what?
All right, so that was Cassette Beasts, and like I said, I really adore this game.
The future
Just
has always
have had a lot of
been
fun
ours for
playing
the
it,
taking.
casually and speedrunning it. Highly recommend, you know, giving this game a playthrough. I didn't show you even a third of what's cool about it. There's lots of cool songs that you don't even hear in this run. There's lots of cool voice acting that you didn't hear in this run. There's lots of cool side quests and other characters. There's lots of cool stuff. Please, you should play this game, or at least put it on your backlog of 5,000 games that you all have. Yeah. Shout outs to the Cassette Beasts community, the speedrunning community, the devs, the voice actors, you know, shout outs to everybody involved with Power Up with Pride, of course. You all have been helping us put on an awesome marathon here. You know, shout out to Sonic Mega. You've been doing an awesome job of hosting.
Thank you for letting me be a part of this.
Yeah. And yeah, thanks for letting me do my run here, and hope you all enjoyed it. That's it for me.
Oh, there's my colleague. There's Kimlin. Ah, all these people I know. That's me, Mom. I'm there. Quick, take a screenshot. Oh, thank you so much. Chat one more time. A round of applause for Alys Rujasu playing Cassette Beast for us on that any percent seated run. Thank you very much. The time has come, y'all. It is time for me to be on my way. But before I go, let me give you all a little reminder of what True Colors United is and why we're here supporting them this weekend. Over a decade ago, our eyes were open to the fact that up to 40% of the 4.2 million youth experiencing homelessness identify as LGBTQ+. So, in 2008, Cyndi Lauper, Lisa Barbaras, Joni Podell, and Gregory Lewis founded True Colors United, formerly the True Colors Fund, and went on a different kind of tour, visiting homeless shelters, community centers, and other service providers to learn all we could about the issue. Communities and youth homelessness service providers want to be safe and welcoming for LGBTQ+ youth, but often don't have the knowledge or resources to do so, which can create barriers for these youth to get the support they need. True Colors United fills that space by offering free training and resources on how to meet the needs of LGBTQ+ youth experiencing homelessness. We also advocate in government and media to help ensure critical funding and services for all youth and create opportunities for youth who have experienced homelessness to be key leaders in the effort to end the problem. And whether you know it or not, you're a part of the solution too. People often think that because they don't work at a service provider, they can't make a difference, but the reality is everyone can make a difference. LGBTQ plus youth experiencing homelessness interact with more than just the folks working at shelters. They also go to coffee shops and libraries, ride public transportation, use the internet. To put it simply, they live life. We all share the same world. So the question is, now what will you do to make it a better one? And throughout this weekend, you all have been doing wonderfully in sharing the stream, raising awareness, doing your part, maybe even contributing financially. And I hope we can keep that love, awareness, and support going right up until the end of this marathon and even beyond. But it is time for me to step away, time to let the next incredible set of runners and hosts take over. Thank you all for joining me on this part of the journey through Power Up with Pride 2025. It's not done yet. You stay tuned, but I'm going to head out of here and move on to the next part of my evening. Once again, this is Sonic Mega signing off, and I hope you'll give a warm, loving welcome to whoever takes the helm next. Good night, everybody.
the ones doing a lot of the listening, and Asuka's going to be the one doing a lot of the playing. So we've got Sound Shapes coming up next with Asuka on the mic and on the game board. And before that, I should mention something about this marathon. If only my things would be working. Here we are. So I'd like to welcome you all again to Power Up with Pro, supporting True Colors. Running from June 13th to 15th, so this is the last night of the marathon. If you want to get some donations in, this is a good time. We're benefiting True Colors United. To find out more about them, you can find the link to their site in the panels below, below the stream, or use !charity, that's CHARITY, in the chat. If you're interested in donating, you can type !donate in the chat, find the schedule by using !schedule, or see the incentives with !incentives, and we do have some incentives to talk about. We have in Jammerlani coming up next a Parappa level showcase. We are about a third of the way through that, so if you want to see that, time to give is coming up short on that one. And then Muse Dash has just been unlocked, the incentive for unlocking Master Level 11. So those are definitely things you can give your money towards. We would appreciate it if